All right. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Dara, and welcome to our Go Get 2024. This is our fourth annual product showcase, and it is an absolute joy to be here with you in person today. I'll never forget my first Go Get. It was way back in 2021. Which we hosted as a virtual event right in the middle of a pandemic. And amongst other innovations that we introduced an integration with Walgreens to schedule an appointment for a vaccination and to get you a ride automatically to the pharmacy. It really was a sign of the times and Uber being responsive to those times. Well, now that the pandemic is over, it is more and more obvious that the power of being together in person is more important than it ever has been. We all spend, me included, way too much time on our screens. I see some screens up there, it's not a problem. And just too little time with each other. And it's crystal clear that togetherness has a direct benefit on our happiness. So today, we're going to take you beyond the screen and into that thing called real life. Because there's absolutely nothing like the power of connection, whether it's time spent with friends or families or making that new acquaintance. Plus, together isn't just good for your happiness, it is great for your wallet. The simple act of sharing, whether it's rides or groceries, can make your everyday just a little bit more affordable. Connection brightens up life because life is just better together. So let's get going with our new slate of products and features across the Uber platform that can be your catalyst for connection. Thank you.
I love to share. What is mine is yours. What is mine is yours. Sharing is everything, my dear. Let's share, then share some more.
Okay, does anyone else find it hard to share? I do sometimes, I'll admit. But let's talk about a way to make sharing just a little easier and worth your while. I'm Camille Irving, Vice President of Mobility Operations here at Uber. And I know what it's like to be a woman on the go. Every morning, I have dozens of little decisions that I have to make. What time to make my tea, what I'm going to wear, what I'm going to eat. I think I did okay today. Sometimes I'm responding to emails on the run, trying to get the kids ready to school. Maybe I just have so many things to do. And of course, there's that really important question of how am I going to commute to work today? Well, at Uber, we realized that mornings are a rush. So we've created something to make your commute just a little less stressful. Introducing scheduled UberX shared rides. That's right, a new feature that lets riders schedule their UberX share in advance. The best part is that you can save on average 25% versus UberX. So it pays to plan ahead. Since our earliest days, Uber has pioneered in the shared ride space. Remember Uber Pool? It was so good. Fast forward to today, and many product innovations later, UberX Share is now the most widely available shared rides product in the world, and we are not done yet. In fact, we are continuing to lean into shared rides, even though other companies are leaning out, because we believe that sharing is an essential part of the future of cities. At our scale, and only at our scale, we can deliver affordability to riders in a way that is sustainable for our business, because the more people who share, the more efficient our network is. For riders, it's so good for your wallet. You're saving 25% on average versus UberX, and it makes it really affordable. And who doesn't love to save money, especially in this economy? Finally, shared rides is really good for cities. The more people share, the fewer cars we need on the road, the fewer emissions, less congestion. It's very good for how cities operate. So, how can UberX Share work for you? Walk with me. Imagine it's Tuesday night. You're prepping for a big meeting with your boss. You really want to do a good job, right, Dara? I mean, I've had that experience. You're practicing your pitch, going through your morning checklist, and thinking about all the things you have to do. It looks like it's gonna rain in the forecast. You can't be drenched. That's not an option. It probably doesn't make sense to drive because it will be really hard to park and you cannot be late. So instead of stressing, try scheduling. Your UberX Share can be scheduled for the next morning. So to do so, open up the app, select your destination, and then choose UberX Share. When you do that, you'll see a clock icon in the bottom right. That's your signal for savings. Tap that button, choose the time window when you want it to arrive. At that point, you'll lock in your price, you'll confirm your pickup spot, and voila, your UberX Shared is scheduled, easy peasy, get you some rest, and do a great job in the morning. The next day, you'll be ready to pick up your ride, and you will get a text message telling you when your driver is available and whether or not you're going to have a co-rider. By the way, if you procrastinate sometimes, like I do, it's okay, because you can schedule your UberX Share at least 10 minutes in advance and still get the savings. All right, you're all set, and all you got to do is nail your pitch. So, scheduled share rides are available starting today in cities all across the US, including right here in New York City. At Uber, we're on a mission to make sharing cool again. So next time you're thinking about how to make your commute a little easier, consider scheduling an UberX Share ride. Thanks.
As you heard from Camille, the Uber team is working hard to expand more affordable rides, and we've got more for you. I'm Anthony, and my team works on providing customers and businesses all around the world with ultra-affordable transportation options. You may not know this, but we've actually been piloting Uber Shuttle in Cairo since 2019, really with the goal of helping solve commute in one of the busiest, most congested cities in the world. We designed Uber Shuttle to help complement public transportation and help fill existing transport gaps. It was a hit, so we expanded it to India, where this product is having a truly unique impact. That's because the percentage of women who are in the labor force in India is 37%, much, much lower than the global average, and in large part due to a lack of safe transportation. That's why we were excited to hear from so many women who used Uber Shuttle that the ability to guarantee seats and track their trip has really brought peace of mind to their daily commute. So we began offering Uber Shuttle as a service to companies to help them transport their employees efficiently to and from work. Now we're ready to introduce Uber Shuttle directly to riders here in the US. That means you can soon reserve a seat to an airport, concert, or game. And the best part is, it's more affordable than ever. Whether you're heading to see your favorite musician live or catching a football game, Uber Shuttle is really the way to go. Bring your friends too. You'll have a great time, and you'll save plenty of cash along the way. So, starting this summer, we'll partner with select venues across the US to provide Uber Shuttle rides. In Miami, we're going to start at Hard Rock Stadium, home of the Miami Dolphins, Formula One, Crypto.com, Miami Grand Prix, as well as premier sporting events and concerts. And as the official rideshare partner of select Live Nations venues, we're excited to bring Uber Shuttle to venues in Chicago, Charlotte, and Pittsburgh. Now, imagine you've just experienced the concert of a lifetime, but it's time to go home. Nothing will bring you back to reality faster than trying to manage the chaos of parking and pickups at the same time as you've got thousands of people pouring out of the stadium. Uber Shuttle is exactly what you've been waiting for. Now, we do expect Uber Shuttle to look a little different in different places. So in some cities, we may provide first and last mile connections to and from local transit hubs, to the concerts or sporting venues. And in others, we'll do pickups and drop-offs from central locations in the city. And there's more. So we'll be piloting Uber Shuttle for airports by working with our airports partners to provide convenient shuttle services multiple times each day, straight from the downtown locations all the way to the airport curbside. Booking an Uber Shuttle to an airport or event is really, really easy. So you just open the Uber app, tap Where To, add your destination, scroll down to select Shuttle. Once selected, you'll choose from available routes, and you'll see an upfront fare. Check out that price. Then you can pre-book seats on the shuttle. Once your seats are booked, you can view your upcoming trip in the activity section of the app, where you can see all of your trip details as well as turn-by-turn directions to your pickup location. It's easy and it's affordable. So whether you're a traveler, sports fan, or concert goer, get ready. Your Uber Shuttle is arriving soon.
We're college students. Of course we take toilet paper from campus.
We're college students. Of course we have to have an Uber One student membership.
We're college students. Of course we're gonna ration.
With Uber One for students, college students get 6% Uber cash back on late night rides and $0 delivery fee on Eats.
Get ready with me as a college student for the last day of spring semester. First, I had to snooze my alarm 3 times this morning because I was up so late studying. And luckily, I get a $0 delivery fee because I had no time to make breakfast this morning. And yes, I'm eating nachos for breakfast. Mine.
POV. My driver thought I was crying over a boy, but it's actually because I passed my finals.
Hello, my little starbies.
Put a finger down. Ladies, hear me out. If you borrow your roommate's clothes, do your own nails, use your Uber One student membership to get a little cash back on your ride, and get one person to buy you a drink, your night out is basically free.
The groceries I ordered on Uber Eats yesterday. Watching me eat the pizza I ordered on Uber Eats today.
Hi, I'm Danielle. In 2021, we launched Uber One, our membership program, to offer savings and special deals across Uber and Uber Eats. Members get benefits like $0 delivery fee, discounts on food and grocery, Uber cash back on rides, and more, all for just $9.99 a month. Today, more than 19 million people have joined Uber One. So we got to thinking, what more could we do? Enter the college student. There are about 250 million university students around the world and about 19 million college students in the US. We know they're already taking rides, and we definitely know they're always hungry. We also know that every dollar counts when you're in college. So today, we're introducing Uber One for students. You'll get the same great benefits, big savings, and exclusive offers as the standard Uber One, but at half the price, and only for college students. Here's the scoop. For just $4.99 per month, students get benefits across both Uber and Uber Eats to save on meals, snacks, and groceries. Plus, you'll get 6% Uber Cash back for rides around campus and beyond. And that Uber Cash can cover your coffee the next morning, bringing it full circle for savvy students who like to stretch their dollars. So, whether you're craving pizza for that late night study session or pre-gaming Taco Tuesday with friends, Uber One members get $0 delivery fee and up to 10% off orders. And if you don't know, now you know, Uber One for students pays for itself after just one order. Need another reason to give Uber One for students a go? We've also teamed up with restaurants to offer you exclusive savings, including exclusive deals with Domino's, Taco Bell, and Starbucks. And if you're not already a member, now is the time to join because we're offering 4 weeks free up front. In fact, we're the only platform to offer you savings across both delivery and rides with just one membership. And since undergrads famously run in packs, everyone wins when they go and get together. Starting now and through the fall, Uber One for Students is launching across the US, Canada, France, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and Mexico. Happy savings.
So as y'all know, we've been a little busy over here. We just had our 4th baby, Denver, and it's been so much fun. But I'll be honest, like I haven't been, cooking every single night like I usually do. And ordering food has been super helpful. And so I asked a friend who recently had a baby as well, and she was like, I made this list in the Uber Eats app. Like I made a personal list of like new mama meals, aka like her top favorite picks. I was able to like access this list from her, and I like obviously trust her, but it was so easy because it was like right there in the Uber Eats app. Now I want to return the favor and all the love, and I have started my own list, and I'm excited to share those recommendations with other moms. Y'all know I know my food, and I have good taste, so I can't wait to see what y'all think of my list.
Well, I can't wait to see Jesse's list. Hi everyone. I'm Avnish Verma, and I'm the head of product for Uber Eats. Today, I'm really excited to introduce a new feature, one that you won't find in any other delivery app. So as you know, food is much more than just sustenance. It's personal, it's cultural, and it can even be emotional. When I think back to my birthdays growing up, the lemon cheesecake I got from our neighborhood bakery every birthday is etched into those memories. And so for me, cheesecake is childhood. And here at Uber Eats, we know that delivery enables even more moments for people to connect with food, with the people they love in their lives. That's why today, I'm really excited to introduce lists. It's a new feature for Uber Eats that lets you discover recommendations from friends and foodies alike and share your own curated lists of go-to spots and dishes. Here's a few ways you can use it. So I travel to New York often for work. And let's say I land at JFK late at night, and I'm hungry, and I'm tired, and I just want to get to my hotel, do some quick work, and go to bed. And as you know, New York has some of the best restaurants in the world, so when I'm thinking about what to eat, it's actually a really hard choice to make. So I open the Uber Eats app, and immediately, I see a list from my friend Therese. She's a total foodie, so I know she's going to have great recommendations that I can trust. I browsed through her work night fuel list, which includes some local gems like Sylvia's, Cafe Habana, and Ruby's. Just what I need to power through. Therese notes all of the details about her food that I care about. The flavor, the spice level, and how easy it is to eat on a Zoom call. I feel like I'm getting the inside scoop on what makes her pick so delicious and what makes her workday so efficient. I go for the chicken Diablo plate from Cafe Habana. And just like that, it's on its way. Thank you, Therese. And I can create my own lists too. So when I get back to San Francisco, I'm going to want to spend time with my 3-year-old. She's really into soccer and using her new toddler cooking set. But not today. After a red-eye home, I'm not going to have the time and the energy for the cleaning and the cooking. So instead, I'll pull up my toddler-approved list. This includes restaurants with dishes that we both love and enjoy. I select our go-to brunch place, Breakfast Little. It's gonna be the chocolate French toast for her, and the OG burrito for me with spicy salsa. Our order arrives and it hits the spot. And later that day, when a friend and I are texting and we're exchanging parenting tips, my contribution for the day is my list. I simply share it via the Uber Eats app. Personal recommendations go a long way. And now with lists, you can share inspiration for your meals and stay connected to the people you love with the food you love. From your first list to your first share, it's all done in the Uber Eats app. We're launching lists this July, right here in New York City, and then around the world later this year. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Beryl. Memorial Day is around the corner and summer is coming. People are buzzing, making plans, and setting dates. If you're like me, there are really two seasons, summer and then the rest of the year. What is better than getting together with friends and family for long weekends, beach days, and evening barbecues? Nothing. Of course, summer fun also comes with plenty of prep. After all, the hot dogs, sunscreen, and pool toys won't just appear on their own. That is why I am thrilled to share with you that Uber Eats is teaming up with Costco to make it easier than ever to get everything you need for your summer gatherings and beyond, delivered right to your door. We know that our consumers are craving Costco's wide selection of merchandise, quality name brand items, and commitment to value. Who doesn't love that famous Kirkland signature? So now you can order what you need from Costco on Uber Eats. And we've got more ways for you to save. If you're a Costco member, you'll save an additional amount on every order. Plus, you'll get 20% off an annual Uber One membership. Party trick! So when you're planning for that summer soiree, prepping for a full house, or stocking up on essentials, remember that Costco on Uber Eats is really just a tap away, so you can celebrate together. Costco is now available on Uber Eats in select locations across the US, Canada, Mexico, and Japan, with more to come.
Can you tell me what it feels like to go from having your parents take care of you to suddenly having to be the one to take care of them?
Can we hold up for just a second? Of course. Dang. Oh, I swore I wasn't gonna do that. My name is Angela Hintz.
My name's Jeremy, and I'm an engineering manager for the Uber Health team. I had the best grandparents ever. They were super involved in our lives. They were a choir director and a band director at the same high school, and that's how they met. So music has always been a really big part of their lives.
They love to travel. They took so many trips. November 8th of 2022 was the day the world changed in our lives. And my dad, he had a stroke.
My grandma has early onset dementia, and so my grandpa was taking on that role of caring for her.
And we quickly realized that he wasn't going to be able to take care of both he and my mother.
It was very, very hard for my grandparents to make that transition from independence to needing a caregiver to step in.
My parents depend on me for basically everything. It's a lot. What do you take out of your life in order to find the time to do all these additional things?
One of the challenges that she kept bringing up was not having the time to drive them.
Most tasks I can't delegate. Things like getting rides, I can delegate.
It's been nice to see them live out this part of their lives in a way that hopefully gives them something to look forward to each day, in a way that keeps them moving.
Hi, I'm Swati. That video leaves me emotional every time, but I'm beyond excited to talk to you all. My team, including Jeremy, who you just heard from, build innovative products in the healthcare space. We help healthcare providers and insurance companies make it easier to care for patients. Today, they can arrange for patient rides, as well as prescriptions, groceries, and over-the-counter item delivery, all through the Uber Health dashboard. That's great, but we know that it's not just doctors and nurses giving care, it's regular people too. In fact, according to the CDC, nearly 25% of Americans identify as caregivers. For many of us, the ability to care for an elderly parent, a sick child, or a loved one is often a gift, but it's definitely a challenge. From driving to doctor appointments, to picking up prescription refills, and cooking up healthy meals, caring for an aging loved one can often be financially, mentally, and time-intensive. That's why this summer, we're launching Uber Caregiver, a new product designed for you to take good care of those you love. Now, it can be hard for patients or care receivers to navigate their benefits. Who am I kidding? It's hard for me to navigate my benefits, and I build these products today. Now, they can ask for help and easily add a caregiver right in the Uber app. This can be any trusted person over the age of 18. With Caregiver, you can now arrange and pay for these rides to doctor appointments. You can purchase meals, medical supplies, and order groceries, all directly in the Uber app. We've also built a three-way chat right in the app to help you easily communicate with the driver, so you can add requests like putting your loved one's walker in the car or just getting her bags like you would. And one last thing, and it's the most important thing, eligible costs are completely reimbursable from their health plans, so they can avoid those out-of-pocket costs. If something is not covered by the health plan, no worries at all. You'll be able to pay for the rest, Uber style, with a personal credit card. As a sandwich generation myself, with an elderly parent and a beautiful daughter, I can attest that taking care of someone you love is the most beautiful form of connection. With this new feature, please, let's just make it a little easier on ourselves. Caregiver will begin rolling out in the US this summer. Thank you. Now back to you, Dara.
Thank you, Swati, and thank you, team. Life indeed is better together. Scheduling your ride with UberX Share or booking a seat on an Uber Shuttle is an easy and affordable way to ride, whether you're going to work, whether you're going to the airport, or you're going to a concert. And to get a personal recommendation and a real peek into someone's personality, Lists is the perfect way for you to discover some new local spots or some spots when you're traveling. And who doesn't love Costco? Let us help get what you need for a full house like mine, because there simply is no better place to stock up. And personally, I can't wait for my son who's in college to sign up for Uber One for Students. I can tell you he will definitely break even and more, because he orders way more Ubers than one a month. That would be my dream, actually. Well, not really. I like it when he orders Ubers. And I will tell you, as a son to some older parents, and in-laws, et cetera. I know that Uber Caregiver is going to be a huge help to millions of people all around the globe who are taking care of family or loved ones. You know, for me personally, my favorite core value at Uber is that we build with heart. We work to meet you where you are, to understand a little bit more about your needs, and to innovate to make your life a little bit less effortful and maybe more magical. So I hope that after today, you're going to enjoy some of these new products that we're launching this year. And more importantly, I very much hope that you use these new products to share your life with others. All right, so next we're gonna do something different. We're bringing these seats up here. We're gonna take this conversation about togetherness to the next level. This is a very, very big topic, and I think one that many of us can benefit from. So here to discuss it is award-winning journalist, author, advocate, architect of change, Maria Shriver. So please join me in welcoming Maria for a conversation about the power of human connection. Maria, thank you very much for joining us. It's great to have you here. To start, could you tell us a little bit about your personal journey and what sparked your interest in brain health and the science of human connection? We'd love to know. Is that working?
I don't think it's working.
Oh, there you go.
There it goes.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say how happy I am to be at an event in person with real people together, because I'm a big believer that some things, even though all those ideas were terrific, some things can't be outsourced. And I think being together, listening to one another, being in connection, being in community, in conversation, is one of the greatest things that we can do, and it's what I think we all need tremendously right now. It fills us up, it makes us think, and I think it makes us feel a little less alone in the world. So I'm a big believer in in-person gatherings, and so I want to thank you for inviting me here. I definitely saw some things that I'd sign up for right away. But how I got involved, tell me about my journey. It's a long conversation, so I'll try to abbreviate it. But I became interested in brain health because my dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's back in 2003. And at the same time, I had 4 little children, and I had just become First Lady of California. So I was balancing a lot of things, and I knew very little about Alzheimer's. I think the world knew very little about Alzheimer's. I'm an only girl, 4 brothers. So I think they thought, well, you'll figure that out and you'll take care of our father, and that's kind of what women do. And so I've always pushed up against what women do and tried to broaden out how women are perceived. That's been also a huge part of my journey and my story. But I started, learning about Alzheimer's. I wrote a book, I did documentaries, and I found out that by reporting out that women were disproportionately impacted by Alzheimer's. So I started a big nonprofit called the Women's Alzheimer's Movement to fund research into trying to understand why women were getting Alzheimer's at double the rate that men, because there was very little research done on behalf of women. And that led me into this whole world of brain health, into caregivers, into Alzheimer's, into research, into understanding that women's research was decades behind men, which led me to the White House and launching a big White House initiative on women's health and research several months ago with the President and First Lady. So my journalism is really what led me to understand more about Alzheimer's, the role of the caregivers, which I found myself in. For several years, my mother ended up having strokes. I can identify with Jeremy's story because my dad had Alzheimer's, my mother had strokes. As I said, I was with little children and First Lady and a busy life myself. So I think there are millions and millions of people in this exact situation, and I've always approached every situation as a journalist, and I've always approached my journalism as a form of service. What can I learn and what can I share that will inspire others?
Well, I think it's definitely service that's needed in today's society more than ever. I think for me, one of the fascinating areas is the impact that your mental health can have on your physical health.
Yeah.
And human interaction can have on your mental health as well. There's a CDC study that says people with stronger social bonds have a 50% increase in likelihood of survival, generally in life or when they're sick, than those who have less social interactions. Yeah. What do you make of that? What's going on there in terms of this connection of social to brain health to physical health and likelihood of survival and thriving?
Well, I think it's what's going on here, right? It's different when we're in community. It's different when we're in conversation. And I think when we look at these statistics about loneliness, about depression, about anxiety, I had a son who graduated from the University of Michigan during COVID, and his first job was he's sitting alone in his apartment on a computer, and he was hungering for community. He wanted to go to an office. He wanted to meet people. He wanted to be mentored. He wanted to see the world through other people's eyes, right? And he and so many of his generation would come over and say, I'm depressed, I'm alone, I don't know where to go, no one's teaching me, no one's mentoring me. I get off of a Zoom and I just kind of sit there and I don't even want to engage on a Zoom in the same way that I would engage in an office. Older people living alone, isolated, become depressed when nobody cares for them, nobody talks to them, nobody reaches out to them. And the list, as I said, goes on. So it I think follows the science, it follows the medicine, that if we're not in community, if we're not in connection, no matter our age, we become isolated, we become depressed, we become hopeless, we become anxious, and the stories, that's bad for our health, our mental health, our physical health, and really our spiritual health. And everything we've learned about a brain healthy lifestyle, and one of the exciting things about being in this Alzheimer's and brain health space is that when I got into Alzheimer's, people said there was nothing anybody could do about Alzheimer's. It just was an inevitable part of aging. That's wrong. There's so much we've now learned that all of us can do in regards to our brain health. They now believe that maybe 40 to 50% of all Alzheimer's cases can be preventable due to lifestyle choices that you make 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, even if you're in your 60s or 70s. And it's by adopting a brain-healthy lifestyle, a socially engaged lifestyle, a lifestyle of purpose and passion and service, that how good that is, not just for your emotional health, but your physical health, your mental health, your cognitive health, and they're all different, really, mental health, cognitive health. And so I do a lot of work trying to educate people and tell people that really so much power is in your own hands. So much power is in the decision about what you want to eat, where you want to work, how you want to work, whether you move or you don't move, whether you're engaged with other people or not. And that's both exciting and a responsibility, but one that that has a direct impact on our health.
Can you come and talk to our employees? They're still giving me a hard time about getting them back to the office. So it'll be great. You talk about it so much better than I do. But more seriously, you talked about your son, and he's entering the workforce.
Right.
A lot of us here, including lots of Uber employees as well, we're just starting families, or we have kids who are of the age where they're insisting on, getting a phone. My friends have it. My kids are actively debating me on that topic. What's your advice on younger parents or parents who have younger kids as, socially the social demands are, while, of course, you interact with each other through screens, et cetera. What advice would you give this generation of parents and how to handle this conflict between screen time and real life interactions?
Well, one thing I know is don't give parents that much advice on their parenting because, people are very sensitive about their parenting. I think people are inundated today with information on their parenting. My daughter has 2 children, a stepchild. She's working. It's complicated, right? So I found that if I give her any suggestions, and she's like, it's different now. You don't really know what you're talking about, and you don't understand. And I'm like, well, I did raise 4 children, but it's not the same. they're not the same. It's not the same time. So I'm like.
Tell her to use Uber Teens. It's awesome. That's like really good advice.
But I think that, I would say read Anxious Generation, Jonathan Haidt's new book, which I think is really powerful. I had a rule that, the kids didn't get a cell phone until middle school, 8th grade, and they were always the last, and they complained all the time. And, they complained about their curfews. They complained about everything that I see my daughter now doing herself with her children. But I think there's no substitute, right, for meaningful connection. There's no substitute. When I was First Lady, I did a lot around family meals because all the research showed that if you could eat as a family and eat with your children, that was really helpful in delaying drug use, delaying alcohol use, building family bonds, sibling bonds. So I try to follow that science. I think the science is really clear on screen time. I think the science is really clear on being in sports and being outside. Now, for many families, that's not possible. They don't live in safe neighborhoods. Many families are working 2-3 jobs. So some of these things like go out and play, go out and spend time, just wander, it's not possible. But I think that also speaks, I think, to political advocacy and trying to get people in local neighborhoods, people who you represent in local neighborhoods, to get parks that are safe in local neighborhoods, walking areas, biking areas. And also, I think it speaks also to the importance of bonding together with people who have the same philosophy about screen time in your schools or in your communities, because there is power in numbers. And when parents get together, there's tremendous power, way more power when parents get together than when they don't. So if you have a group of parents that all say, let's wait till 8th grade, people will wait till 8th grade. If you have parents who bond together and say, we don't have phones at the dinner table, that was always my biggest fights with my oldest son, because he'd want to take his phone out, and I was like, you're not allowed to have the phone, whether I take you out to a restaurant or whether you come home to eat, that's not allowed. And he got in some major arguments with me, and now we don't argue about it at all. But it also made me have to say, like, I'm okay with you not liking me. I'm okay with you not thinking I'm okay. And so I think that's also something that we as parents have to be willing to do. I was raised by 2 people that weren't interested in being my friend at all. They were interested in me being afraid of them, me standing up when they walked in the room, me respecting them, and not so much doing as I was told, but thinking about what their rules were, thinking about what their philosophy was. And their philosophy to my brothers and myself was, you need to be of service. You need to get out there. It doesn't matter that you're only 4 or 5. But you need to be of service. And by the way, so do all the friends that you bring over to this house. And they were, up until their death, very religious about that. And so if, they had said, don't pick up the phone, I wouldn't have picked up the phone.
All right, so when my kids are a little upset at me, I'm just going to blame you, Maria. I'm going to say,
go
Maria told me.
Yeah,
So you talked a little bit about this. You have this thread in terms of communities. And one of the really interesting conversations that I heard that you had with the Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy, where he said he talked about communities that are more connected. The communities that are more connected, they're more prosperous economically. They've got lower violence rates. They've got higher resilience in the face of natural disasters. And people are more productive at work. And kids do better in school. Do you agree? I think you do, but what policies, how do we get there to create more communities that are together and as a result more prosperous? Do you think is it government, is it communities, is it local government, federal government? How do you think we get there?
All of the above.
Yeah.
I think, behavioral change, right, starts from contemplating and realizing we have an issue.
Yeah.
And then once realizing we have an issue, it's saying, does anybody else agree with me? Who wants to join in with me? When I was First Lady of California, I was a registered Democrat serving in a Republican administration. And I had to cross the aisle, find Republicans who agreed with me. I had to work with private enterprise. I had to work with nonprofits. And I tried to cast the net as wide as possible and focus first and foremost on where we agree, and then find out how we could build a coalition together to get something done. I think we kind of now think about like two parties and them versus us, as opposed to, okay, what can we all agree on? Where can we find common ground? We all want a park that's safe. We all want community centers. We all want streets where kids can ride bikes. How do we make that happen? So we have to start as people power, right? Then we start at the community level, and then that leads to maybe a statewide level, and then that leads to a national level. And also it's also to start from a place, as I say to my kids, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get things done. I mean, I'm looking at this Caregiver app today, and I've been talking about caregivers for 20 plus years into the wind. And here we are with a Caregiver app. And I had nothing to do with it. I'm not saying I did, but it's just, I've been talking about Alzheimer's for 20 plus years. Now people are going, wait a minute, lifestyle, Alzheimer's. My son and I just came out with a protein bar for brain health. It's called Mosh. We were just on Shark Tank about 10 days ago.
How'd you do?
We did great. We did great, and we're doing really great because people are thinking about brain health today when it comes to food. I've been talking about it for a long time, but the timing wasn't right. So the timing is right today, I think, for so many things, whether it's a Caregiver app, whether it's to talk to your parents or yourself about brain health and Alzheimer's prevention, whether it's to talk about how complicated it is to work, to parent, to caregive, to give yourself some grace and give grace to others who are also engaged in it. It's time for businesses to talk about flexible hours as people try to navigate all of these things. When I was a journalist at NBC and pregnant with my first kid, they were like, you can have a week off if you need it. And I was like, wait, what? And they're like, well, there's nobody here who's pregnant and working and, we don't do that. I'm like, well, I have a kid in my stomach, so we got to figure something out. But I think it takes a long time for things to happen, and I think we live in an immediate world where we can call Uber and the food comes immediately. And I think that that's both great, but it's also made us really impatient as a society. My kids are like, oh, I'll just Uber that. I'll be here in a second. Don't worry, don't stress. But, patience, waiting for things to happen has its own great benefits. And so I think that it's a balance, right, of understanding. I try to say to my kids all the time, if you want to try to make this happen, get ready for a long road. It's going to take a long time, and don't let that discourage you. And I was saying just the other day when I was standing in the White House and we were launching the very first ever initiative on health and research for women, and it was 2023, and I'd been talking about women's health for 20 plus years. I was like, wow, this felt like overnight, and it felt like forever. It felt like forever. And I just opened a big comprehensive women's health center at the Cleveland Clinic. It felt like it took forever, and it felt like it happened in a minute. But I think if you have a long vision for everything, I really am a big believer, whether you're raising children, looking at marriage, whether you're looking at divorce, whether you're looking at forgiveness, whether you're looking at how you run your own life, if you have a long-term vision to live a deeply meaningful life, if you have a long-term vision for who you want to be, how you want to show up in the world, what you want to accomplish, then it's actually easier to live that life because you have a goalpost, even if it's 20 years in the future. And I think that's how we reduce loneliness, we reduce anxiety, depression, is if we have a long road and we agree that we can work together. Because we have the research now. We know what it takes. We know how to do it. And we know that it will involve each and every one of us.
So talking about looking forward 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Maybe we're together here on this stage.
That would be awesome.
You've taken maybe an Uber Air from New York here. It's a quicker ride than the Uber you took. What do you think, what will be your wish list in order for humanity to be more connected, more successful? This is the last question in terms of 10 years from now. What are we going to talk about?
Well, my wish list would be that humanity would be more connected.
Yeah.
That humanity would see itself first and foremost as one big human race, that we wouldn't look at people as others, we wouldn't judge people by their religion, their gender, where they came from, their zip code, that we would be a kinder, more collaborative world, more gracious, that we would have discovered the needs of people who are aging and people who are young, and that they're the same. That people who are older and living alone are the same as that kid who's in their room alone. That we all need and want the same things. That we all want to live lives that matter. That none of us want to be alone. That all of us want to feel as though kind of our lives meant something to someone. That all of us want to be loved. And that all of us want to do something good in the world. And my hope is that we will have followed the research, that health in all its forms, cognitive health, spiritual health, mental health, physical health, will have been prioritized, that we will recognize that we are a care economy and that the jobs of care are elevated in our society, that we won't look at things as women's issues or men's issues or LGBTQIA issues, that they're human issues, and that we will be a more unified world where people aren't, and certainly a more unified country, and we will afford dignity to people, whether they're, regardless of what political party they are in, but that we don't actually approach them by what political party they are in, but what are their hopes and dreams, and that we seek to build up our country, that we acknowledge its beauty, its dignity, its democracy, and our role in keeping it as such. So that's the vision I work for. I kind of talk about the open field, which I got from Rumi, who is a great poet. And he talks about out beyond right doing and wrongdoing, there's a field. I'll meet you there. And I've kind of added onto it, kind of out beyond right doing and wrongdoing, out beyond shame and guilt and judgment and othering and religions. There's an open field, and I'll meet you there. And I think that's certainly is my guiding principle. It's how I try to walk through my life, and some days I do it well, and some days I don't. But it's a goalpost, and I know that so many others feel the same, and I hope that we're doing more of this and less screen time, even though I know that they're both incredibly valuable. But I know that this can never be replaced by that. I know it. Even if AI comes along, and I've seen how great AI is, but I don't want to fall in love with a character in AI, right? I want to fall in love with you, and I want to hear your stories. And that's why I think journalism will always be super important. And I think the ability to tell stories will always be what moves hearts and minds. And I hope that everybody sees that they have a story worth telling, worth inspiring, and worth making an impact on other people's lives. So that's what I spend my time dreaming about, thinking about, and trying to make into reality.
Well, I look forward to seeing you in that open field 10 years from now.
Great.
Thank you very
I'll
much
see
for
you there.
joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very good. That's a better.